Welcome to Week 13. Responsible media creation is more than just making a convincing file. It's a documented process. You must plan, obtain necessary permissions, create, review, ensure accessibility, disclose your methods, and carefully document every decision before finally publishing. Remember, high technical quality does not guarantee responsible media. A file must also be accurate, fair, accessible, and suitable for its intended purpose. Technical polish is only one piece of the puzzle. You must always consider the broader context of your work. Responsible production follows a clear chain. Start with a brief, secure permissions, create or edit, conduct a 4-layer review, ensure accessibility, disclose AI use, track provenance, and make an informed decision. This chain may conclude with publishing, revising, or stopping entirely. AI can play different roles in your workflow. It might generate content, edit existing material, or simply provide limited assistance. Because these roles often overlap, it is vital to clearly explain what was already there and what the AI system modified. Generated media, like text-to-image prompts, synthetic music, artificial voices, or AI animation, is largely created by a model. Since most of this meaningful content did not exist before generation, this level of involvement requires rigorous review and clear disclosure. AI-edited media involves changing existing content, such as through object replacement, image extension, or changing expressions. Since the boundary between original and edited content can be invisible to viewers, always ask if the edit has changed the meaning, identity, realism, or evidence. AI-assisted tasks are more limited, such as noise reduction or caption drafting. While these functions are helpful, they still require human checking, especially when they could affect the meaning of your content or its accessibility for your audience. When planning, document the transformation from before to after. What original material existed? What did the AI do? How will the result be presented? Ask yourself if these changes might affect the audience's trust, the meaning, or the perceived realism of the final piece. Always begin with a production brief. Define your purpose, your audience, the message you want to convey, the format, and the platform. Remember, the novelty of using AI should never take the place of having a clear and meaningful purpose for your media. Your brief should proactively address realism, accuracy, inputs, accessibility, and risk. By anticipating these factors, you can conduct a thorough review before spending valuable time creating the file, ensuring you have a clear stop condition if the project becomes unsuitable. Before using AI, decide if it is truly necessary. Often, a simpler illustration, a genuine recording, or a clear diagram can communicate your message more accurately and with less risk. Always choose the format that serves your purpose with the fewest potential complications. It is essential to remember that illustration is not evidence. A generated scene might help learners imagine a historical setting, but it is not a record. Never present a realistic reconstruction as if it were a genuine photograph or recording of an actual event. Identify all people and inputs involved, including faces, voices, and even fonts or locations. You must consider permissions, licenses, and privacy. Ask if the material can be used, and if you could achieve the same goals using less sensitive information. Consent must be informed and tied to the specific use. A person needs to know what changes are happening, where the media will appear, and who will see it. General permission is not the same as agreeing to specific, potentially sensitive transformations. Finally, remember that public availability is not consent. Just because an image or video is online does not mean you have permission to clone a voice or animate a face. Never perform these actions on an identifiable person without explicit, informed permission. When requesting styles, avoid naming living creators, as this raises significant ethical and legal concerns. Instead, focus on describing the specific visual qualities you need, such as color palettes, lighting, textures, and geometric styles. This approach is both safer and helps you achieve your creative goals. Use prompts to define technical aspects like subject, composition, and movement. While these references help guide the direction of your production, keep in mind they do not grant permission, establish truth, or guarantee the safety of your output. Always remain responsible for the content you generate. Be aware that detailed prompts can still produce detailed errors, from impossible anatomy to historical inaccuracies and unnatural speech. More prompt detail is never a guarantee of reliable media. Remember, the generation of a file is only the beginning of your review, not the end of your responsibility. Review your output using 4 distinct layers: Start with technical function, proceed to factual accuracy, evaluate meaning and context for your audience, and finally, consider the potential human impact. Technical polish is vital, but it never replaces the need for these other critical reviews. For images, perform a technical review by looking for distorted anatomy, merged objects, invented text, or lighting inconsistencies. Determine if any defects are purely cosmetic or if they actually change the factual or social meaning of the image. For audio and video, listen and view the entire output to check for lip sync issues, unnatural movement, or sound quality errors like volume shifts and missing words. Don't just check the beginning. Review the full duration for inconsistencies in the content or captions. A factual review is essential for educational or documentary media. Verify dates, places, uniforms, and scientific processes by comparing them against reliable sources. Even if you are creating illustrative or fictional content, it requires factual scrutiny if your audience will use it for learning. Consider the meaning and context. Ask how your audience might interpret the content. Could it be mistaken for a real event? Does your editing or music create a misleading emotional frame? Remember that technically impressive media can still communicate a completely false meaning. Conduct a human impact review to assess issues like identity, consent, dignity, and safety. Always ask if anyone might be harmed or misrepresented by the output, and consider if you could achieve your purpose with less identifying or lower risk material. Representation is a vital part of your review. Examine who is shown, who is absent, and how different roles are portrayed. A narrow portrayal of expertise, for example, showing only one type of person as an engineer, is not just a design choice. It affects the accuracy and dignity of your work. Plan for accessibility during the production phase, rather than as an afterthought. Designing your formats, language, and alternatives from the start ensures your choices truly support the media's purpose, rather than just satisfying a checklist. Accessible images require meaningful alt text, sufficient contrast, and clear visual descriptions. Remember that alt text shouldn't simply list every detail. It should explain the image's purpose in context. Always treat automatically generated alt text as a draft that needs human review. For audio and video, ensure language access by providing accurate transcripts, speaker identification, and audio descriptions for essential visual information. Always verify that names, accents, and specialized vocabulary are correct, as automatic tools often struggle with these. Always treat automated accessibility tools as drafts. They are prone to error, such as misidentifying speakers or failing to capture the educational purpose of an image. A person must review and finalize all accessibility content before publication. Finally, disclose AI involvement clearly. State what was generated or altered, and clarify whether the media is illustrative, fictional, or reconstruction. By explaining what viewers might otherwise misunderstand, you provide transparency that builds audience trust. Remember that disclosure must be proportional to the level of AI intervention. Minor edits like noise reduction might require simple notice, whereas complex tasks like identity cloning or recreating events demand prominent, explicit disclosure. Always place your disclosure where it remains attached to the media, even after sharing or reposting. Maintain a comprehensive provenance record for your media. This log should cover the purpose, tools, inputs, licenses, prompts, edits, 4-layer reviews, and final decisions. It serves as your internal verification of responsibility, but be careful not to include any unnecessary personal or confidential data within these logs. After your review, choose the path for your media. Publish, revise, or stop. Publish only when everything is legitimate and risks are managed. If there are correctable issues, take the time to revise. If you cannot resolve problems related to consent, facts, or safety, you must have the discipline to stop the project. For your practical activity, create or storyboard a piece of AI-supported media. Follow the full chain. Define your brief, verify inputs, generate your version, conduct the 4-layer review, improve accessibility and disclosure, and finalize your documentation before deciding whether to move forward with publication. Responsible media is a relationship, not just a file. In your final report of 300 to 500 words, document your process, your purpose, the tools used, the results of your 4-layer review, and why you ultimately decided to publish or stop. Documentation is what defines professional, ethical work.